Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for coming in tonight, everyone. Hey, replay viewers, thanks for being here. And thanks, YouTube viewers, for watching. YouTube viewers, if you'd like to watch live and join in the chat down here, you can just download Periscope to your phone and search for Penguin and Fish. I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. Hello, everyone. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to flip you around and we'll get going tonight. Hey there, all. Thanks so much for coming in tonight, everyone. It is Wednesday. I hope you all are having a great day. I am working on the Splendid Sampler quilt along, and I know there's a block out right now that we haven't started yet because I haven't been here for the past couple days. But if you remember my sewing machine, it kept going on and off. There was a little, not a short, but a little loose connection in the cord. So I brought that into the sewing machine doctor a couple days ago, and my sewing machine's going to be out for 7 to 10 days while that gets fixed. I decided to get it cleaned up as well when I was doing that. So no sewing machine for a little while. I do have my husband's great-grandmother's old Singer sewing machine that I was thinking of getting out, but that block, the current block, has so many half-square triangles and just like things that I really need to have a really good scant 1/4 inch on. And I thought it was a little too risky. So it's a new block day tomorrow. We'll see what the block is. If it's simple enough that I can do on a machine I am not used to or comfortable with yet, then we'll give it a go. However, in the meantime, we're going to be doing some handwork. We got a whole pile of blocks that we are not done with. By we, I mean me. I know a lot of you might not be done with some of these blocks either. So I picked tonight to work on the Inchy Hexagon Club. This is block 36, so one of the oldies that I'm still not done with. Here's how far I am. It is that little hexagon wreath. So I thought we'd work on that a little tonight in lieu of not having a sewing machine. So let me know how your guys' Wednesday is going. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery and a fabric designer, and I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central. All right, guys, I'm going to flip you around. So I haven't been here since when? Since Saturday, though, actually. My parents were in town, and then last night was my painting class, so I've been out hanging out with them. They left Tuesday, but that was my painting class night. But I'm back now for a while. I don't have anything else planned for a little while. Haha, time to buy one of those fancy new machines. All I need is a little cord, and then we'll be fine again. Oh, man. I'm not ready for a fancy new machine. All right, so I have this is how I stored my Inchy Hexagon Club fabric. I kind of have it all picked out already to go around this wreath. These are my centers. These are all kind of in order, so I'm going to kind of keep it in order. The basement actually got a lot farther with my parents here. We worked on the walls a lot, and I'd say we're about halfway done with figuring out the walls. The hubs chipped away at it quite a bit, and we have some sealer on there now, and we're kind of on the second half of that. We gotta put some cement in some joints and seal it all up again, and then it's coming along though. There's actual action happening with it, so that's good. All right, these top light colored ones are the rest of this loop. I'm kind of mixing up fabrics a little bit. This one's kind of hard to tell, but these three are actually a fabric, and these three are a different fabric. And I'm going to be doing the same thing here. I'm going to be throwing in this guy in it. But we only have one more little hexie, so I thought I'd cut more out. I didn't cut them all out beforehand. I'm just kind of cutting as I go. Actually, this one I think was used. It feels like it's been used already. I think this is the one that I popped out of the middle blue one here. If we get around this entire flower tonight, then I'll pop out the one from this blue one. Once a hexie is surrounded, then you can take the papers out. So like this one doesn't have the paper in it anymore. All these other ones do though, because they're not surrounded yet. So all right, I printed. Don't mind the colors. This is a recycled paper, like a little test print that I did. It's kind of pretty though. All those overlapping layers of color are kind of neat. It's a little stiffer paper. It's not quite tag board or something like that. It's just kind of like a thicker printer paper. I'm going to cut out a row. You know, let's cut out 2 rows right away. I'm going to just cut up this way. Cutting out some more hexies so I have them ready to go for next time. This felt like a nice handwork thing to do tonight, though. I'm kind of excited to work on this. This kind of feels like the bunny to me, like the bunny that we've been working on forever. I still have to cut it down. Oh, and check it out. Got my rotary cutter back. I had taken that class at Crafty Planet here in town, that long sleeve t-shirt making class, and I forgot my rotary cutter there. And the Hubs was in town today, and he picked it up for me, so that was super nice of him. So I could cut out the bunny and actually get it done, but then I'd have to pull out the whole cutting board and everything, so I thought I'd just wait on that until we get the cutting board out again. But this one feels like the bunny to me, because it's one that's been sitting in my unfinished pile. I know, he was nice. It's been in my unfinished pile for, ever. I mean, it's block 36. We're almost twice as far as that right now. And it, one of those ones staring me in the face like, oh, you're so far behind on me, you'll never get me done. And that's kind of what it was saying. So I thought, handwork night tonight, let's pull this guy out again. I wasn't really feeling like embroidery. Sometimes to me, like embroidery, you still have to make kind of creative decisions and stuff. So sometimes when I'm just tired, but I want to be doing something crafty, but I don't really want to make decisions, then I'll do something like this instead. Or like knitting like where I just have to knit the same row back and forth over and over again. I still feel good. It still feels like I'm making stuff, but I don't have to think. Like with embroidery, I still have to think like, oh, what stitch do I want to go here, or what color, and all that. And, sometimes that's just a little too much thinking. Color catchers. Oh, it did! Oh, yay! Okay, good. That's really great to hear, Janet. I'm happy to hear that. I'm almost actively trying to make things bleed. Like, I'm using thread that could potentially bleed, because I want to test out the color catchers. I haven't actually done that yet. So great, that is excellent. I'm so happy to hear that worked out. All right, almost done. These guys, they just take a while to snip out of here. And I'm going to punch holes in them right away too. The holes are so we can easily pop them out once we're ready to do that. And that's not until they're completely surrounded. So we'll, and the only blocks that are really, I think, completely surrounded on these are going to be the center hexagons. And then I don't think we pull the rest out until we're entirely done with the wreath. And then we can press it really, really good. We'll probably starch it and then press it really good. And then, I don't know if we'll starch it though, because there'll be paper in it, but after we press it really well, then we will take the rest of the papers out and stitch it down right away. So there's a little tiny dot in the middle, in the center of these. I'm just using that as a guide and punching a bunch of little holes in here. I have this little, this has to be maybe a 1/8 inch hole punch. I got it a long time ago at a specialty stationery store. I think we used them on our wedding invites, actually. This is a little cuter than a big normal-sized hole punch. Might be 3/16, but I think it's more like 1/8. My hexies barely fit in here. All right, 4 more, and then we will start stitching. It's nice to have things prepped, though, I think. So it was so nice to have my parents here again. They stayed with us this time, which was nice. They kind of like staying at this hotel by our house, just because, you know, sometimes it's fun just to stay at a hotel versus, you know, at someone's house. But the hotel pretty much doubled the price of their rooms for no reason. So they stayed with us, and that was super nice. I hope they stay with us again. It was fun. All right, let's grab these two. I'm gonna set these other colors to the side. So these are for the next florets or flowers. I have it in order. So my colors are gonna go from light to darker on this side and then back to light. So kind of like this circle. Did we craft together? No, we didn't really craft together, I don't think. What did we do? Oh, well, we did. We worked on the basement, so we cleaned some basement stuff. I'm going to start with this one. So how I'm going to start is I'm just going to glue with just some temporary glue stick. Just put a dab of glue in the middle there, and that will hold it in place for us. And then we'll trim it out. But yeah, oh, I know what we did. We went to the Container Store for fun. They don't have a Container Store by them, and we have like this really nice one by us, and so we had fun at the Container Store, and I want to do some shelving in our living room, and they have some shelving stuff there, and my mom wanted to go look at stuff, and Dad's making kombucha, and he got some bottles to store that in, and been gone a lot. Oh, you're thinking, you're only 13 behind. That's about where I'm at. Actually, I might be 14 behind now. Oh man, I'm gonna have to check again. I'm getting farther behind. So I'm gonna do that technique where I just do one long thread. So I'm gonna just let this dangle here while I'm stitching this guy, and then I'm gonna put them on right away after. So I'm gonna fold over that first side, kind of finger press the rest. I'll try and get a little closer here for you guys. There, I think that's a little more in focus. And then fold the next side over. Yeah, this was my mom's idea. I was not doing it this way before, and she's like, "Oh, I came up with this way. You can just do one long thread, and it's so much faster." And it totally is. It was going so much faster for me. So I'm just gonna let that dangle there. I'm leaving enough thread there so I can still maneuver around, though. I mean, it will be kind of a long loop when I'm done, but that's okay. It's all going to be on the back. It's not going to matter. So I'm going to keep rotating. But yeah, for speed's sake, I mean, it is a little awkward with that hanging there. You know what? I can just hold it like that too, I suppose. But just not have to tie a knot every time and have little ends laying around. This is pretty nice. So you're folding an edge over. I'll show you with the next one. So we're folding that edge. over our paper, and that's creating a little fold for us. And so we're starting from the right side of the fold, going into the fabric, and then coming out the left side of the fold with one little stitch. And then we're pulling our thread through, and then we're repeating that. You can even put it in the same holes, that's fine, or just, get near, but going from right to left, and that kind of locks that corner in place. And then we're jumping to the next fold. And that's all we're doing, going around and around till they're all on there. It's all folded over. We were over halfway done with the Splendid Sampler, so it was probably about time to get my machine checked up again. I really only needed them to look at that cord, and that was a thing last time I got it checked up. They said that, at some point I might want to redo that, and now's the time, I guess, but I just thought, I'm bringing it here. Let's just have them clean it up too, and that's always nice. It always comes back fresh, and we had all that fuzz around the bobbin, and they'll take care of all that, and it'll just be nice. After big projects, I like bringing it in. And this is a pretty big project. Did you post 65 yet? Is 65, is that the current block? I can't remember what number we're on. If so, then no, I have not started on that at all. I think they will, I'm not sure. My guess is that they'll give me a whole new cord, and they'll put it on the pedal. So all right, here, this guy's done. I'm going to be putting it onto here now. No, I haven't started that block yet. So I've been gone the past few days. So I haven't, this is my first day back since, I want to go at my end point here. This is my first day back since my parents are in town and my class, so I have completely missed this block so far, and now with my machine out, I'm kind of just waiting on it, especially since there's a lot of precise sewing in the current block with all those triangles and sewing on the bias. We talked a little bit about that before, sewing on the bias. I'm going to put 2 stitches. I'm doing a whip stitch on this. We've done a ladder stitch on it too, but I'm going to do a whip stitch. I kind of like you can see the little stitches when you do a whip stitch on the front, and I kind of like that. And it's just, for me, it's a little easier to hold my needle vertically like this, doing the whip stitch, versus a ladder stitch, which you have to hold horizontally. So let me try and get you guys in focus again here. Yep, a good time for hexies. That's what I thought. All right, I'm just trying to focus. Here, maybe if I go this way. There we go. Now we're in focus. So I am just going to whip stitch around this edge. I made 2 stitches to start. That's kind of like tying a knot almost. And that loop from where I was letting it hang, it's just floating back here. I'm just kind of ignoring it. I started on one edge here, and I'm going to stitch all the way to the middle here and then back up this side. I know these are the smallest hexies I have ever stitched for sure. But I'm thinking that's the case for a lot of people on the Splendid Sampler. As far as stitching hexies, I'm thinking a lot of people haven't done hexies this small before either. It's kind of fun, actually. But it's crazy the amount of work that goes into such a little thing. I am not sewing through the paper. I'm going to sew a second stitch here. I am only catching, got a little knot. I'm only catching the fabric edge. Just like a couple threads, like 1 or 2, or like 2 or 3 threads worth. So I'm folding, I'm working on this side now. So we did, here I can show you. So we just did this flap, and now I'm sewing it along this edge too. So I'm just going to line up those edges, and I'm going to have to fold this guy a little bit to get in there. So now that I'm matched up, I'm going to do 2 more stitches at this corner just to hold that corner in place. And then I'm going to whip stitch along. I am not going through the paper at all. The paper, the only thing holding the paper here right now is basically the glue. The rest is from our stitches just in the fabric, and the fabric is kind of grabbing hold of those paper pieces, but there are no stitches through the paper pieces at all. I'm just grabbing a couple threads on the edge. I'm excited for this one. This is actually, my mom is done with this one, and this is actually one of my most favorite ones of my mom's. It really is kind of special, I think. All right, so I did the double loop in that one to kind of hold it in place. And that is 1 hexie done and sewn on. So let's continue. I think I'm gonna do let's do this guy now. I'm kind of doing a mix of lights. This was a mix of yellows, so this is my one kind of light that's different than these spots. All right, right side down. Let's glue one of these guys on it. I'd like to be able to get around this flower, and then we can pop out that center blue square. That's always fun. All right. This isn't, this glue stick isn't anything special. It's just what I had. I don't know, UHU stick. I don't even know what that means. It's just like any little Elmer's glue stick. Just nothing permanent. Just a cheap little glue stick. I want parts that are kind of whitish though, so I'm going to go over on this side. About there, I think. Block 60. Oh, so I don't think I'm going to do the paper piece version. So block 65, that's the current block that I'm kind of skipping right now because I don't have my machine. It does have a paper piece option to it, because there are a lot of small half square triangles and flying geese, so they gave us a little option to do it with paper piecing. I think I'm going to do it the normal pieced way, not the paper pieced way. It kind of seemed like there was a little something off. Like I was just reading the pattern today to see if I was going to do it tonight, and I don't know if you guys who have done it already saw this, but it seemed, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like the diagram for the paper piecing and the little diagram, the little thumbnail up on top, it seemed a little off. Like the corners seemed weird, like something went wrong in the computer or something. Like it was a little off, and the paper pieced. I'm just trying to focus here, guys. So I'm not so blurry up front. All right, I think that's the best we're gonna do. So I think that was a little off, so I don't really want to do the paper pieced version of it. It had different corners. Yeah, so there was a weird rectangle not matching up thing going on. So I want to piece it. And I was going to piece it anyway just because it seemed like a nice piecing challenge. Oh, the designer made it that way on purpose? Okay. Well, but I don't think I don't think the normal piecing instructions end up that way though. I think that ends up like with that bear claw or whatever that type of block is called. I think those corners match up though. So I don't know, a little different for paper piecing versus the normal piece. The written is normal. Yeah, exactly. So I was a little confused by that, but I want to try that one piece because that'll be a good exercise in my diagonals and straight lines and scant quarters and all that. So I thought I'd do that. My machine, they said, I brought it in on Monday, and they said 7 to 10 days. it might be done sooner. And I might actually, depending on tomorrow's block, if, oh, this is out of focus again. If tomorrow's block is not too difficult, I might bring out my husband's great-grandmother's sewing machine and attempt to do it on there. So I think that's the plan. And if it's too crazy difficult, then we'll just make more hexies, or we'll embroider, or, you know, I do have that other hexagon block, the Sew South block. That one I haven't started. So that one I happened when I was on vacation this summer, and that one seems pretty simple. It's kind of like this, but bigger, normal sized hexagons. Or not normal size, I mean, that's just the size that you see most people online doing, like that bigger, like 1-inch size, like this. So that would be one that we could probably do pretty quickly. That's handwork. But yeah, so it'll be kind of a little bit of catch up for me, unless tomorrow's is easy enough to do with that other machine. All right. There, this guy's all stitched around. I'm going to put them right there. I think that's kind of cool, the blue running into each other. Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a lot of other things I need to buy before an expensive machine. All those new machines those fancy new machines are pretty dang expensive. So I'm going to have to hold out on that. And I would be so sad to not be sewing on that little Sears Kenmore anymore. Although, it's probably the same sort of sad that I felt with our old car. Like, I was sad to see the old car go, but once I got driving the new car, I was pretty happy with the new car. So, I'm thinking maybe to go like that a little bit with a new sewing machine, but I don't know. Right now, I'll stick with this guy. But yeah, those new machines, they can do some fancy stuff. Like even just like cutting the thread for you, all that I think I would really like. But I also like the idea that, you know, you can do all these blocks and you can sew on an older machine. You don't need fancy stuff. Yeah, hey, that'd be nice. A GoFundMe page. I need a new sewing machine. GoFundMe. Marks at go. It is kind of, that GoFundMe thing, though, is kind of interesting in that way, because there are a lot of people just doing something like that. Like, I want more tattoos. You know, if you want to help me get more tattoos, go to my GoFundMe page. Like, stuff like that. And then I'm just like, oh, man. That's pretty bold. Bold to ask people to fund you for stuff like that. But hey, if you want me to have a new sewing machine, go right ahead. Alright, this loose crazy piece right here, that's just from when I let the thing dangle from before. I'm not going to do anything with that. That's just there. You can see more of those. I got loose little bloops all over the place. Those are just when I let it hang. They're not in our way. They're not going to do any harm. This is fun. I haven't worked on this guy for so long. It's relaxing, these hexies. Like, it really is. A couple of years ago or a year ago, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there were just hexies everywhere. Like, people were doing hexies for everything. I mean, in blogs and stuff like that, and Instagram and stuff, just so many people doing hexies. And I just was like, I don't know if I'm into it. But I can see it now. Like, it really has just a calming effect. It's kind of like the needle turn applique. It's the same feeling that I was saying that I was getting from that too. it's just nice to do that little handwork stuff. Oh, you know what? This was dumb. I went from here to here. I should have gone from here to here because now I'm way on the top here when I want to be down here for the next block. So I'm going to actually just kind of jump through my fabric here. We'll do it in a couple stitches. So I'm back in the center there. Whoops. What happens to them when you finish them? What happens to the hexes? All right, I guess I don't know what you're asking. Oh, the loops. Oh, nothing. They're just back here. They're not gonna, they're on all of these. Like I can pull them out. I can see them on, even back here. I'm not gonna do anything with them. I'm gonna pop out all the papers and I'm just gonna stitch this to the background fabric when I'm done, and all those loops will still be behind there, but no one will know. You won't. I don't think you'll. It's so thin. You're not gonna feel the texture. There's so much fabric back here that's gonna block any of these loops. They're just gonna live there. No need to do anything with them. All right, one more on this guy. So let's, this is the last part of the light. Then I'm done with this sheet and it can, or piece of fabric, and it can go back in my scrap bin so I can use it again. Oh yeah, so it's just the only reason for it that we're doing that is because usually I would have to tie a knot here, start a new piece of thread, and then I'd set this aside and I do the hexagon individually without all the rest there. And then I'd have to tie another knot on here, and then I go bring this back and then sew it all in there and tie another knot, and all that knot tying and new thread and all that, that's what's taking up the time, and that's like the annoying part that I don't like doing. So this way, I just have one continuous thread that I'm never tying a knot and starting a new thread or whatever until this one gets done. It's just all one thing, and that's all we're doing. That's the only reason I'm doing it this way. But yeah, you definitely don't have to do it that way. What a lot of people do is they stitch all their hexes, like they just do each hexie individually, and they just keep doing their hexes, and so when they're done, they have a whole pile of hexes with fabric around them, and then they stitch them all together like this. I'm just stitching them as I go, just because I'm kind of liking that process. But you might just feel like, you know what, I don't want to stitch it all together, I just want to make these hexes. I'm having fun making the hexes. So then just do all that first, and then you're just stitching it together when you're done. Let's put this guy down here. So it's just what you feel like doing. I like seeing it grow as I work on it. And you don't have to cut these edges perfect or anything. You're just folding them over. You could actually cut a circle or a blob. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a perfect hexagon around this. But the glue is nice because otherwise I would pin this to the block, or I would just hold that hexie there and fold it over and do it without this hanging on anything. But just that tiny little dab of glue does make it easier. I don't have to worry about it moving around on me, and I think my edge gets a little nicer because of it too. So all right, let's do this guy. We'll grab this guy again. All right, fold the one edge and fold, and I just, I continue. Once I fold the first edge, I'm continuing that fold up the entire way. So kind of finger pressing the rest of it, and then folding it over and hold it in place there. Let me try and get you guys in focus again, up close here quickly. There we go. All right. Now right to left again. And I'm just grabbing a few threads here too. I'm not grabbing a ton. All right, I'll let that dangle. I think that was a little bit easier when I held it. All right, next corner. I'm getting a little behind again, getting the older videos up too, so I'll try and get that going again too. And when I was visiting my parents at their house a few months ago, or a month ago, or so ago, I don't have that block yet up yet either. That was that friendship circle one. I think that's what it was called. So I got some catching up now that all the family is back home. Like John's mom was here too, and now that all our visiting is done for a while, which is a bummer because it's fun, but since that's done, I will try and get back on track again. All right, almost around. I think I'll just enough thread to get this one on. Have you guys seen or heard of these? I just thought of it now. My brother, I think he gave it to his wife already, but my brother got this for his wife. But it's a Harry Potter remote control, but it's a wand. So somehow this wizard wand makes the TV go. I haven't seen it in action yet since they've had it, but I don't know, for some reason that just popped in my head. I'm like, I wonder how that works. I kind of want one. I don't know if you guys have heard of that before. All right, so you might be noticing that I'm not doing that final stitch, and it's because I have this corner attached already. You think you saw it a while back? I might have to Google that. I don't know why that popped in my head just now, but I'm like, I need to know how that works, like, right now. All right. So I'm just rotating this, so where my last stitch was right here, this corner, so it starts right here, because then I can stitch all three sides here all at once. So get my thread out of the way, and this, oh, there we go. Get this, our hanging loop out of the way. Isn't like you can gesture with it to change the channel? See, that'd be cool. Oh, they did have it on the Big Bang Theory? Oh, that's kind of funny. I would think, like, you know, a circle would be, or maybe it's like the numbers, like 1 or 2, you know? That'd be kind of fun. Oops, I don't have this in the right spot. It needs to go here. I'm going to have to Google that. All right, get that loop out of the way, and now we're ready to go. So I'm doing my 2 stitches at the beginning. Yeah, I'm going to have just enough thread, I think. 1 more to hold this in place. This is just going to get, this is like flapping around here, but that's just going to get bigger and bigger as I keep doing these. Keep adding to this. But this is the last one of this flower, so we can pop out the blue centerpiece after this is done. So I'm excited for that. I always like taking out the papers. You might want to leave the papers in until you're done, but once they're surrounded, I like the satisfaction of popping it out of there. Wow, I'm going to have just enough thread. Hopefully I don't run out beforehand. That would not be cool. All right, 1 more in that corner, and then I will rotate it. All right. So again, to do this kind of Y seam, because it's shaped in the letter Y, I have to kind of fold this one, but that's okay. All right, now these 2 are together. I'm going to put another 2 stitches through the blue one in this knot. Oops, let's get that loop out of the way. then we'll go around this edge. I think I might do, well, most definitely I'll probably do a blue background for this one as well. Oh, and so I was cleaning up a little bit this past weekend and going through a bunch of my bins of fabric. So I have bins upon bins of fabric. I just can't get rid of them. Sometimes it's clothing, like old clothing that I've cut up, but sometimes it's just kind of fabric I've acquired from somewhere. But I did find some more blues. I'll show them to you in a sec. So I am going to add a few more blues to my blues in the Splendid Sampler. I'm trying to do kind of a primarily blue quilt with pops of other colors in, but here, I think I can reach them. There, so here are my other fabrics that I found. I got this kind of dark blue that has a little speckle in it, and a lighter version of that as well. I thought those kind of went really well with my current fabrics. See, you can kind of see they kind of go with all this. And then I found a couple solids too, a really bright blue. They're both pretty bright, but one's just a little darker, and then this bright blue. Actually, you know what? I think this isn't even a solid. It's a solid, but it's got a sheen. So I think it has like a metallic, some weird shimmer happening with it for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's a little shimmery. So that's kind of interesting. We'll get a little shimmer in the quilt. But yep, so found a few more blues. I'm excited about that. Oh man, I only have this much thread left. Let's see if we can do it. All right, now I'm folding this whole entire thing here just so I can match up these edges here. Yay, good. I'm definitely infusing some more blue into this last half of the Splendid Sampler. I'll have to lay them all out when I get to like 75, block 75 again. So that'll be 3/4 of the way through. Then I can assess if I need to add some other colors back in. Maybe. We'll see. Or just, my other colors that I have, like the reds and yellows and the whites that I have going on. If it's okay to start infusing more of those back in, because I was doing a lot of those for a little while, and I think they're starting to take over the quilt a little bit more than what I was hoping for. So back to blues. All right, one more stitch through there, and I'm gonna tie this in a knot now as well. So I'm gonna just grab one of those last stitches and tie this off. Just because we are going to cut this off now. Oops, I didn't quite make it. I'm a little fumbly with this tonight. Yeah, I'm going to do it on the ground here. Sometimes it's easier to do it to tie your knots on a flat surface. I'm just kind of doing almost a French knot, wrapping it around a couple times, pulling the slack to the needle, and then pulling through. There we go. I think that's all we're going to do. I'm just going to tuck it in the fabric a little there, and let's snip. Alrighty, so that's enough of that thread. So here is our second little flower stitched together. So I'm kind of using this as a guide for where to place them. So, this is as if we're doing these two here. So the next one will come off of these two. So one will be tucked up in here, and one will be on a segment higher, it looks like. Yeah. So here and here will be the next ones. So let's pop out that blue. And then you know what? I think we might call it an evening. Just call it a little earlier tonight. So I guess I can just use my needle here. You know what? I'm afraid I'm going to bend that. I'm going to grab a little thicker pin here. I got T-pin here that's pretty sturdy. Let's pop that out. So, oop, that one's popped out already. So I'm just kind of lifting up the little fabric bits here till I can see that hole that we punched in there. And I am sticking the needle right underneath in that hole, but I'm not going all the way through, or at least I'm not trying to. And then I'm gonna just kind of pull on it, just try or go around, release that glue, and then try and pop this guy out of here. Let's see. It's tough with these itty bitty ones. With bigger ones, you have a lot more area that these guys can maneuver. Oh, I might wreck this one. Oh, there we go. There he comes out. But definitely easier with that hole in the center. And then this guy can be reused too. So it's a little beaten up, but it will work perfectly well for more blocks. So there we go. So now this one doesn't have any paper in it, so it's nice and soft, just like normal fabric again. It doesn't have the stiffness that all the paper does. And that's how all of these will be once we take all the paper out. And that won't happen again until we've pressed it. We have the whole thing together. We've pressed it. We'll take all the papers out, probably press it again, and then we'll stitch it to our background fabric. But that won't happen for a while. We still have four more of these circles to go. But our next one is going to be, so we're going from this white, and we're going to get bluer and bluer until we're dark blues. So the next one is a combination of these and this. Ooh, wow, we have a lot of scrap in here. Good, a lot of this will go back. So this will be our next flower here. And then we'll get darker and darker, and then we'll come back around and get lighter. So I think the last one I have is this green and teal, and then that green and teal will lead into this yellow one again. So I have to keep this in order, and these are my centers. Oh, we're gonna have to do a new center soon, but I think we are gonna still continue off of what we have going on here. So we'll do the two, and then we'll add the center to that, and then we'll keep adding the rest of the flower around. So all right, that guy got a little further tonight. And then just to finish up, to put everything away, I have just like a little safety pin. This happens to be a bent safety pin that's used for quilting, basting a quilt, but it's just what I had on hand. A stray little bent safety pin. I don't know, have you guys seen bent safety pins before? They're great for when you're quilting, or when you're basting a quilt, which basically means that you're putting the top of your quilt, the batting of the quilt, and then the backing fabric of the quilt. You need to hold all that together somehow before you sew it together. So these safety pins hold them together, but the bent part of it makes it a lot easier to pull it down and up through the pin. So you can just, they're awesome. They're at just any craft store, bent safety pins. Oh, you don't know why you own them, but you own some? So the fun thing about this hole is that I can just put all my ones that were finished, or that we haven't used yet, and the couple that we have used that we popped out already. I can just store them on this little pin. And ideally, I would have cut out all of these right away, but I'm just cutting them out as I go. Like, I'll be good with these. I'll be good for like two more flowers. How they managed to get you a stash of craftiness? Well, you don't need to use them for quilting. I'm using them for this here. So, all right, now that guy's all ready, and we're ready to pack it up again. I'm actually gonna leave this needle with my project as well. That's something I really like doing. You know what? I'm gonna just put it right in this fabric here. I always like keeping supplies with my projects. So I have a lot of other needles, so I'm not going to miss this one. I'm always going to have a needle. So it's okay if I leave this here. But then all I need to get out is a little scissors. And if I was traveling, I would put my scissors right in there too. So I'd have all this project together and, you know, my glue stick. But I know I'm going to use the scissors and glue stick for other projects. And this guy isn't going to go far. He's just going to live on my counter here. So if I do travel with it, I know I need to put these in. But the needle, I'll leave in there. So, all right, I'll flip you guys around and I'll show you what this guy looks like, and we will call it an evening. Hello again. So here we are. It's so cute, so little and so cute. But I like this little guy here. I like the idea of putting kind of a mixture in there, but it's still gonna have the feel of going from light to dark to like background to light again. At least that's the plan. That's the vision, right? We'll see. We'll see how we execute it. But there we are, guys. Again, we're working on this because I don't have a sewing machine right now. It is New Block Thursday tomorrow. So depending on the block, how difficult it seems, like if it's a normal sewing block, piecing block, that looks relatively simple and something I can figure out on a different machine, a very old machine that does just a straight stitch, and I'm gonna have to mark off where my scant quarter is and all that. If it seems like something I can manage on that machine, I'll bring that out. That's my husband's great grandma's old singer. I think it's from 1911. And then it got converted to electric in the 30s, I believe. I actually wrote Singer to ask them about it. I had the model number and I wrote them, and they sent me an email back. So I'll try and find that in my emails again to let you know about this machine for sure if I bring it out. But anyway, so this guy will go up, this video will go up at Penguin and Fish Movies tonight. It will be up by tomorrow morning. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. If it doesn't seem like something I can do without a machine, then I think we'll be back to these little hexagons or embroidering or something else. So thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow, New Block Thursday. Have a great evening. Good night.